Hello peeps, welcome back to Plague Inc. Today I'm doing a how to beat brutal bacteria. I believe that's the first one we're going to take a look at. For a while I was struggling with beating the plagues on brutal, but I have since gone back and redone them and done them all. So I'm going to show you how to beat bacteria on brutal. Now, one of the first things you want to do is unlock all the genetic codes. As you can see here, I have everything unlocked. Now, to unlock them all, you need to have won 25 games, which is easy. You just stick it on casual until you've unlocked them all, basically, and just beat them over and over again if you have to. But it makes beating brutal a lot easier. Okay, so let's start with the DNA gene. The first one, for the DNA gene, you want to get Metabolic Jump, which gives you more DNA from popping red biohazard bubbles. So that's the first one you want to get. Mutation genes, you want to get Genetic Mimic, because it makes your plague harder to cure, which is probably the best one in this section, because once you get into brutal, you want to make it harder for them to cure your disease or your plague. Travel gene, native biome is a great one for this, so you can start infectivity in your starting country. That's great. Environment gene, you want extremophile, so that gives your plague a minor bonus in everywhere it goes. And the evolution gene, you want symptostasis or symptostasis, which means your symptoms don't increase, the costs don't increase, but it does make it slightly easier to cure. But we've made it harder to cure with Genetic Mimic. Okay, so they're the 5 modifiers that you want to try to beat brutal bacteria. So we'll pop this on brutal, which compulsive hand washing, doctors never go home, and sick people locked in prison, which obviously is going to make it a lot harder to do. We're going to call this bogeys because, you know, why not? And you will want to start ideally in China, which I believe is here. Yes, because it has a huge population. It's got access to a port and an airport, and obviously land borders with Russia, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, India. So it's a great place to start. So that's what you're going to do. Okay, so let's take a look at our disease menu. Transmission is the usual sort of thing you'd find as our symptoms. But bacteria has bacterial resilience, which gives you a bonus against all climates. So that's the first one we're going to get. Once we've got 6 points, let's speed this up a little bit. Okay, we have 6 points. Bacterial resilience 1, we're going to get that. Okay, get a few more points. Okay, we've got a few more points. Let's go to transmission. We'll get water first, that's 9 points, and then we'll get, once we've got 10 points, we'll get air 1 as well. Obviously, the earlier we get the transmission ones, the more likelihood of us actually spreading it via those means. Okay. Okay, we can get airplanes infected again. Okay, and then for this first kind of part, we want to make sure that we get a lot of the cheap symptoms that increase infectivity. There we go, we've got Central Asia already, so we've got 6. So we want rash for 3, we'll get sweating for 3 as well for the time being. That's what we want to get first. Okay, and then once we've got rash and sweating, skin lesions, because that's really infectious. So we get in, and then we'll get coughing and sneezing once we get some more DNA points. It's always good to have a few extra DNA points in the later game anyway, spare, for just in case you need to devolve anything. That's coughing and that's sneezing. Yeah, in case you need to devolve anything that's lethal, because you don't want to get anything lethal. Okay, so that's the first steps you want to take, and as you can see, the plague is spreading pretty well already. So let's just pause it here. Okay, so the next step is the transmissions air 2, water 2, and then extreme bio aerosol. So let's go into that transmission. That's 16, that's 17. So we get this one first because that's one less. So we get air 2, and then we'll need 18 points for water 2, and then I believe it's 20 points for the extreme bio aerosol. So this should help us spread a bit quicker. Okay, we can get water 2 now. There we go, and then yep, extreme bio aerosol is 20 points. But because we're infecting quite a lot, we're getting our bonus points. There we go, we've got 23 points already. There we go. That's extreme bio aerosol. Okay, so then we'll go to abilities. We'll get bacterial resilience 2 and 3, and then we'll get drug resistance 1 once we have the DNA for it. And already we've infected just over 1.5 billion people, and that's pretty fast. Okay, we'll get drug resistance 1 first, because that will slow down our infectivity. Then we need 9, and then whatever we need for that one. So we're not far off from getting the next points. Ooh. Okay, so we'll do that now. 9 and then 12. So we've got all 3 of our bacterial resilience. So we're good in all climates. And then the next thing we want to do is load up on infectious symptoms that don't cause anything lethal. So we've got some pneumonia. I don't know if that's... Let's take a look. Symptoms, pneumonia. Nope, that's fine. So we'll get nausea, and we'll get vomiting. That's lethal, so that we won't get that one. That's potentially lethal. Let's get some cysts and hypersensitivity. There we go. We'll do that. We'll keep some points to one side for the time being. As you can see, we've taken most of Asia and Russia. Oh my god, there's bubbles popping up everywhere. Looks like we've got some infection in Greenland. Let's pause it for a sec. Greenland, we've got some infection. Iceland. Caribbean we haven't got to yet. New Guinea we have. New Zealand we have. Madagascar we have. So the only one we really need to get now is the Caribbean. So the next thing we want to look at are drug resistance 2. And we'll get genetic hardening 1 and 2, because obviously they've started on their cure research. You could go for birds and livestock or blood. I generally tend to go with blood, but it's kind of up to you really in which order you do these in. They're all useful, so I'm just going to take up blood 1 for the time being, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so if we just take a look at what's going on now, we've got 5 billion people, almost 5.5 billion people infected. Most countries have infection. We've got 86 points. So let's take a look. Let's get blood 2, and then symptoms, we want to load up a bit more on the lesser ones that aren't going to have anything lethal, because then that's when everything starts becoming a bit... We don't want to start killing anything off yet. We'll get some anemia and haemophilia and abscesses. So now look, the infectivity is huge now. I think anything else is going to start killing people off. So that's good for our infectivity. We've still got 60 points left. we have everything that we need here. But I think to help us, I think we're going to have to get paralysis, because that makes it significantly harder to cure. And it's only a tiny bit lethal, so we'll get that. And we'll take coma, because that is slightly lethal, but makes it harder to cure. So we'll take that one as well. If you're finding that you're struggling with the cure at this point, I'm almost hitting 50%, so I think what I'm going to do is buy a genetic reshuffle, just to kind of slow it down a little bit. And we're very close. Oh, we've got some tumours now, so that's minor lethal. Iceland is having a little bit of a problem with infection rates, so I think another thing to do here would just be get cold resistance 1. I don't think we'll need anything else, because everything else is pretty much infected. There we go, that makes it a bit easier. So hopefully by this point you've still got sort of 50, 60 points. Okay, so we've got no healthy people left in the world. Okay, so this is when you flip the kill switch, essentially. You want to use total organ failure. Maybe internal hemorrhaging, and if you've still got some points, get hemorrhaging shock as well. I don't quite have enough points just yet, but this should start killing off people pretty quickly. Any mutations now that you get is pretty much good to go, because now it's just a case of trying to kill everyone off before they get to 100% on the cure. We seem to be killing off people fairly quickly. I think I might take another genetic reshuffle though. I mean, we're getting tons of points, so I can do that. I can do that now. It's 30 points. And let's take hemorrhaging shock as well for 23 points. And then our lethality goes through the roof almost. And there's been a nuclear explosion in France just to kind of help things along a bit. And as you can see, the cure thing has really started to slow down. And if I want, I can get another genetic reshuffle, because I've got so many points from killing everyone off. Yep, some free stuff. That's fine. And that's it. And that's brutal. Bacteria. It's not that difficult once you've got a good strategy. The strategy for this game really does start when you're picking your modifiers at the beginning, and your starting country. And there we go. World destroyed on brutal. And that didn't take very long at all. So I hope this has helped you out. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more how to beat Plague Inc on brutal. There'll be more coming soon. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.